Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative2xmom, and today we're going to be talking about goals for September. So welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're new, Creative2xmom is all about homeschooling, parenthood, and thriving in the day-to-day. Today's video is about setting goals for September. I started this series back at the beginning of summer, I believe in June, and I've broke up goal setting into 4 focus areas: parenthood, marriage, homemaking, and personal goals. And these goals have really kept me accountable as the months have gone on, especially in the summer when things can get kind of lax around here. It's been nice to have just one small bite-sized goal to focus on in each of those areas. I know that sometimes we can get overwhelmed, and that's why a lot of times my New Year's resolutions kind of fall by the wayside, because they're usually bigger. They're usually big, grand ideas, and I haven't broken them down into the small habits that I need to develop. So the last couple of months have been all about goal setting and habit development and that sort of things, where I'm not so completely overwhelmed by what I have on my list. So the first area that I set goals in is motherhood, and my goal for August was twofold. It was, number one, to just be mom. I found I was focusing so much on being disciplinarian, on helping the kids form habits, on all those things that are part of parenthood, that I was forgetting like the softer side of parenthood, being their place for them to fail, and then it would be okay. I feel like over August, that actually, because of some things that happened, that was such a good goal for August, and it was so needed that I would have extra grace for my kids throughout that month, that I would be just mom, not be teacher, not be teaching you how to cook, and all those things were still happening, but being able to just be mom and being a listening ear was so needed in August. And I think part of that was because I was being intentional about that, and I was backing off and giving them more grace, and part of it was just because of life circumstances that were thrown our way kind of forced me into that position. But I'm so glad I made that goal, and particularly with one of my children, I think it really saved our relationship in the month of August. That sounds really dramatic, but it was really good for us to have that focus. The other part of my goal for August was to develop a pretty good morning routine, because we have a commitment 5 mornings a week that we have to be out the door pretty early, and I needed to develop that morning routine. That went okay. It was a little bit thrown off by the fact that my mom was here for 10 days at the end of the month, and so then I was falling back on her and not always taking all the kids with me and leaving a few of them home. So now we are almost having to reestablish that routine and reestablish that rhythm, which is okay, because I think goals are just that. They don't have to happen immediately, but it's kind of pushed us. It was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So we are still working on that morning routine. As far as my goal, my motherhood goal for September, of course, continuing to work on that morning routine. And as part of that, I want to work in morning prayer time with the kids. Our commitment in the morning is that my oldest is going to public high school, and so we have to be out the door pretty early. Not only is it public school, so we have to be on time, but it's also high school, so it starts early in the morning. The drawback to that is that we always pray together as a family during our morning basket time, and now he's not here for that, and I miss having that time to pray together and to let him know that I'm praying for him and to know that he's praying for us. So as part of continuing to work on our morning routine, I want to find a way that we gather together maybe 5 minutes before we walk out the door and just pray together. So that is part of my goal, my motherhood goal for September. The other part of my motherhood goal for September, and this is kind of a goal every fall, and that is to help the kids declutter. They all have fall birthdays, plus the holidays are coming up. My boys share a room, our house is a little crazy, and I'm going to jump in on this one as well and start really working in my husband and I's bedroom, because I'm starting to feel like the walls are coming in on us. So really for all of us to be decluttering, and for me to be leading that way for them to be modeling it and to helping them make tough decisions in that area, and then honoring those tough decisions. They might not make the decisions that I would make, but honoring their process of decluttering. On to marriage. Now, my marriage goal for August was to have at least one date night, and we were able to do that. August 11th is my husband and I's anniversary, and so we went out the night before. We went out on a Saturday night. We had dinner together, and we just did a few things, which was awesome because it was just the two of us. You know, even when you're just running errands, I don't even remember what we did past dinner that night, but it didn't have to be anything significant. It was just the fact that it was just the two of us and we could hear each other's thoughts and be able to communicate what was going on with us, and to celebrate our anniversary that way was awesome. My marriage goal for September, and I really struggled with this one, and I haven't even really set a very solid goal for September because just a few days after our anniversary, my mother-in-law passed away. And it was sort of anticipated. It's been this like thing that has been hanging over us all summer, but it was also very sudden. So in thinking about my marriage goal for September, it was like, how can I love him the best? Because we are in this interesting period of our lives that neither of us have walked through before, and I don't know how best to be a good spouse to him at this point. And so we're kind of, I feel like we're both feeling our way through this one a little bit, especially in the next month. Not that I feel like grief has a time limit by any means, but in the next month, I just kind of was at a little bit of a loss because there's no necessarily like, oh, we need to do this or oh, we need to do that, but just that there is a need for a lot of sensitivity, a lot of grace, a lot of time together. So just, I guess my goal, if I could define it in any way, would be to spend time just being together and hearing each other's hearts and hearing where both of us are at. I think there are a lot of tools that we could use to supplement that, but I think right now for the immediate future, it's just going to be just time spent together. The third area that I set goals in is homemaking, and my goal for July and August was to establish a new sort of zone cleaning routine in our home. I have taken a few ideas from Fly Lady, I've taken a few ideas from She's in Her Apron, and we have developed these zone cards. Now for me, because I work in the home and my kids are with me constantly, it almost feels a little futile to be cleaning it all because I clean and then it's a mess 5 minutes later. So for me, what we did is we adapted those and made them family chore zones, and it's been working really, really well. We have almost tweaked every little thing out of it, and then we changed some of the furniture in the living room, and so then there was small tweaks there. The one area that we haven't gotten to work very much in has been their bedrooms, because I made that zone 5 and not every month has 5 weeks. So I'm continuing to refine that, but so far it is going so well. I would say for us, it's a great system. I really want to share it with you guys in the future, but I'm still tweaking small things here and there, but I'm excited about it because this is the first time in my life, in my adult life, that I've found a way to sort of keep up. And so I've been super excited about that. Despite all the craziness of August, it still was a really great system for us. So on that note, for the month of September, I sort of have a twofold goals there as well. And one is again along that theme of decluttering and working throughout our home. A lot of people get this like spring cleaning fever. I get fall, and I think it's because we have so much coming into our home in the fall with so many birthdays and the holidays and such. I like to declutter in the fall, and I'm not going to be brutal. I'm not going to go crazy. I don't think I'm going to KonMari everything. But as I'm working through the zones to be decluttering in my cleaning schedule this month. The second part of that is to post scripture throughout our home, and that's something that I used to do years and years ago. Nothing super fancy, just a 3x5 card with a scripture verse on it, and my guests in my home would laugh because you might open a random cupboard in the kitchen and there would be a scripture verse posted. I don't think it needs to be anything spectacular or decor worthy, but just to be aware, because one of my personal goals this year was to memorize more scripture, and I'm finding that I'm failing at that miserably. So I'm hoping that something like this, like a small tool like this, will help move me along in that process a little bit more. And finally, my personal goals for the month of August. Number one was to get a consistent bedtime, which I completely failed at, and I actually took more on my plate. So in September, I'm not even going to set myself up for failure in that one. I'm still going to be very conscious of it and pushing for a better bedtime, especially since we have to be up early in the morning. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because I did that in August and it just was not helpful at all. My second goal was to cut back on sugar, and I did okay with quite a bit of travel and some things, of course, not having a lot of control, being in my own home, not having as much control over my food. I didn't do great, but it is consistently better than it was over the summer. So my goal in September is similar yet different. My goal in September is to really cut back the carbs, which I think contributes to the sugar craving. Now, why am I not just cutting back sugar? And that is because we have, one of my sons has a birthday in September, one of them has one early October, and then my nephew's birthday is in September, my niece's birthday is in September. So we have a plethora of birthday parties, plus my birthday's in the fall, I know it's coming. And we like to bake. I love to bake. My daughter, the other day, I helped her make a lemon pie. So it's one of those things that I'm just going to live my life. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not going to probably go to all of those birthday parties and not have a cupcake or a scoop of ice cream, especially if there's homemade ice cream. I want to try to find that place where there is moderation, and yet there's still a lot of cravings. And so one of the ways I want to work on that is by cutting back the carbs, giving myself some freedom in the sugar area, but also working on kind of detoxing my body and getting some of that out so that the cravings aren't as predominant as they have been in the past. Of course, I'm still going to be very aware, and I think I'm actually more aware during birthday season sometimes of knowing that there's so many coming up. Like at this birthday party, I know they're going to serve homemade ice cream, so I really want that. At this birthday party, I know there's going to be chocolate cake, so I really want that. Am I going to have cake and ice cream at both? No. So I'm just more aware in that season, but just consistently still trying to take those steps and improving and cleaning my diet and making it, just making my body so much happier. So that is my 4 areas of goal setting throughout the September. Thanks for hanging out with me during this sort of chatty life update, sharing with you what's going on while also setting goals as we go into the fall. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know, do you goal set, and what are some of your goals for the upcoming month? I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.